Hello everybody, welcome to Abdel's Home Cooking. For today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a simple dessert known as an apple crumble using these ingredients. The main attraction, 3 Macintosh apples, 1 1/4 cups of flour, 5 tablespoons of butter, and a 1/2 cup plus 2 teaspoons of sugar. Plus more butter for greasing the pan. This pan to be exact. Now before I begin, I should let you all know that this recipe is not from me, but from this book. I got this book on my birthday to teach me the basics of baking, since I wanted to get some more serious baking this year. Thank you, Mom, by the way, in case you're watching this video. So yeah, the recipe's from here. It's pretty easy to use. It's pretty easy to read and use if you have autism like mine. It has pictures, directions, and more. Perfect. This book is perfect for me. Perfect for me. And if you have autism, I personally recommend getting this book too. It's not sponsoring this video, by the way. I just thought you should all know about it. About this first. So yeah. So you can get this in Barnes and Nobles or Amazon. Either way. You're right. I seriously recommend getting this book. It's a real great read. If you want to get into baking. With that said, let's get started. Now before doing anything, we should preheat the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After preheating the oven, we're gonna coat the pan in butter. This prevents stickiness. Since the apples and crumble sticking onto the pan. First, we want to grab a cutting board. And a knife. And a peeler. We're gonna prepare the apple portion of the dish. First, we peel the apples like so. If you can't handle sharp tools by yourself, always ask a parent, guardian, or DSP for assistance. Okay, we peeled all 3 apples, and now it's time to cut. Now it's time to cut and cube the apples. First, you cut the apples into 4 like so, and cut parts of the core. I cut the core part out like so. Just be careful with your finger placement, though. Then we cut the apples into cubes like so. Then we transfer the cubed apples onto the baking pan like so. Onto the baking dish like so. Now do the same thing to the other 2 apples. Now, let's get on with the crumble. First, you put in 1 1/4 cups of flour and 2 tablespoons and a 1/2 cup of sugar onto the bowl, like so. Then using a whisk, is you've mixed them all together. Then you place in 5 tablespoons of butter. Then using your fingertips, using your hand, which you should wash before doing this, by the way, you incorporate the butter with the flour and sugar, like so. All right, we got our crumble ready. Now we sprinkle it on top of the apples like so. All right. Here's our pre-made crumble. Now, place it in the oven. Now, we very carefully place it in the oven like so. And leave it in there for 30 minutes. Alright, the timer means it's done. Now, we open one tray like so. And using these gloves, we take the tray out of the oven and move the crumble away from the heat, leaving us with our finished product. Now let it cool for a few minutes, and you have a nice dessert. All right, let's taste the finished product and see how we did. Very sweet and very appleicious. Yes. Now, if you want, you can also add a dash of cinnamon and brown sugar into the apples, giving them a more savory texture, giving them a more savory taste. And if it's too hot for you, you should serve it with a scoop of ice cream or whipped cream. To cool it down. Let me tell you, those Macintosh apples really did it for this recipe. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this week's recipe. And like I said, if you're autistic and wanting to get into baking, I highly recommend this book. Look, I wouldn't even be able to do this recipe without it. And if you haven't seen it already, I did a lesson of the first part of food safety, hygiene and attire, which is very important when you want to pursue a career in cooking. So I recommend you watch it so you can learn the basic steps of hygiene and attire. And I'll be doing one next week about meat temperature and vegetable washing techniques. So don't miss that as well. And be sure to like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe for more videos, and share it with everyone else. And share it with everyone you know to keep the channel growing. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you all in the next video.